Well, hello, everybody. I'm Ed Parcaut here with Francisco Ruvalcaba Jr. Thanks for being here, man.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. All right. We were sitting here in the green room. We're such a big production house now.
That's a little.
Yeah, well, it'll catch up. Don't worry.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Yeah. Did you catch up yet? There we go.
There we go.
We're
good.
We go. All right.
Solid.
I tell you, the stream. I got to get better internet, and now I know where some problems are, and we got to fix that problem.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were talking beforehand about. You were saying that you've been seeing some people at open houses, and they're saying they want to wait till rates come down, but they still want to look at houses.
Yeah, it's and that's the thing too. Is like I always tell everybody. I mean, bottom line, it's very reverse. Taking that approach. And
it used to be. I'm sorry, I know I interrupted you, but it used to be you couldn't even look at a house unless you had a letter.
Right.
Who changed that?
I mean,
who changed it because they should be in trouble.
Well, it's been a lot of like, I think just so much leniency with also sellers. I think wanting to just let as many people go in as possible, and I get that. It definitely. I mean, I do believe it has its benefits. However, as a buyer, you're not doing yourself any justice. As a buyer, you want to know exactly where you're at. It doesn't make sense. I mean, I understand the approach of taking that route when you're going to look for a car, right? I mean, because a car is,
well, then you can do it in 2 seconds and have their, find the car and then you have the financing. But you should really go to your bank before you do anything else,
right?
With your financing. Again, you should be pre-qualified with somebody.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Is a lot of the times you also see, especially in this market where things still move relatively quickly, and you go and you see something, you fall in love with it, and they're taking in offers by Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, you there's a chance you could get in there, but is that going to be enough time for you to, like fully review everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like to actually see the numbers and be in a good position and feel good about it. A lot of the times people want to find the house first and then they say, okay, let's see if it's worth it at that point. But it's not, it just doesn't go that way,
I know. And that the problem is, I still have a problem with they're letting anybody in the house, because the problem with that is you don't know if that person's in there and they're just going to steal some stuff. Right. I mean, and the one thing I liked about being everybody pre-qualified, pre-approved, you knew who they were. You knew exactly who they were. And you knew who was coming in your house. I know people got nervous there for about 4 months and like, oh, bring everybody in here so we can sell our house. Yeah. We're not there anymore. So you should start limiting the people coming through so they have to be with the letter, because I'm still running into a couple of places that are saying, no, we're not letting people in unless they have a letter.
Yeah. And that's another thing to avoid as well. For a lot of people, I mean, I tell them it'll be explicitly stated on there, like, hey, no pre-approval, you're not getting in. Which again, seeing it on that safety aspect, I mean, it makes 100%, like, it's just, it makes total sense. It doesn't make sense to not kind of have a pre-screen. I mean, would you just want some random person going into your house? And I mean, even just for the safety of like us as realtors, right? Like I could be going to meet someone and I don't know a single thing about him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, it's a lot of the times too, more than anything, even let alone for the sake of the seller, let alone for the sake of us as agents. Also, granted, I mean, it's our time that we do devote to you guys as well. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And not saying that it's not worth it for us to go out there and just pre-screen or see something. I do it every now and then too, just to at least meet the person to be able to connect like on a physical basis, right, in person.
Right.
But still, it's more than anything, it's you're not doing yourself the favor of seeing where you're at. You're not doing yourself the favor of exploring, hey, what if I want to do a 3-2-1, or what if I want to do a rate buy down, or what if I just want credits to not come out that much? If you don't take that, you're not going to see any of it.
No, you need to know where you stand before you move anywhere forward. You need your credit run on it. And a lot of people are like, well, I don't want my credit run because it would affect my thing. Now we do soft pulls. It doesn't affect anything. We see the FICO scores and what you have, and we're good to go. And then you got to go out there and do the opt-out prescreen.com anyway, and you need to get on the donotcall.gov to get so that you don't have people calling you, because the reason we started doing soft pulls is so that the bureaus wouldn't sell that information. But I'm hearing that somebody is selling that information.
Yeah, and with that, I mean,
and that I want to bring up something. So there's a bill in Congress, back in Washington D.C., HR 4198. HR 4198. It was introduced in June by Congressman John Rose. And it's in it was in the Financial Services Committee. Basically, that is one of those you can't sell trigger leads, right? There was another bill, 2625, I like better, that said that nobody could get any information for when someone ran someone's credit. That's the one I want. This one allows lenders to get the information on their clients if their credit was run. The reason I don't like that is if you ever go to that one that I ain't gonna say their name, but it goes up in the space. If you run your credit, they hound you.
Yeah,
they won't. I mean, it doesn't matter. They can keep calling and calling and calling, which I understand they're trying to keep you, but that's sometimes if they wanted to come back to you, they would have came back to you.
Yeah, and I mean, let alone that, but also just having the pure benefit of not having anything dinged on your credit and seeing where you're at financially.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's huge. And it's like you said, off air, you pay for this for your clients as well.
They can't pay for it.
Yeah. So it's something that, you offer as a service for free to people, and they, for some reason, choose to not take advantage of it. And that's again, like I said, I mean, for the most part, that's where everything starts and that's where everything ends. The numbers have to make sense from the beginning all the way to the end. So if that's not what you're figuring out, you're going at it like just completely blind.
Yeah, you need to know where you are. You need to know where you stand. And by the way, that HR 4198 I put on the screen. So if you guys want to research it, reach out to your congressman, tell him to get behind one of those two bills. I think the other one is HR 2625 or 2526 or something like that. Either one will pass and stop people getting 92 phone calls because they actually had their credit actually checked. Because eventually we have to check your credit. It's only good for a certain period of time while you're shopping and stuff like that. So you really need to go to optoutprescreen.com. I've said it before. We've been on everywhere, and do not call list. Get on that list. That's donotcall.gov. And that way they even down the road when we run it. But if they get these two bills passed, one of them, we won't have this issue. But the problem is there was one of these bills a year ago and it failed.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, granted, even when you see it on the end of it takes a while, right? Like for even some of the opt-out pre-screens and things like that.
Yeah, 30 days.
Yeah, it takes a while. And a lot of the times people, I hear it all the time. Hey, this is ideally what I want to be paying monthly, and this is when I want to buy. You can't dictate what that monthly payment is going to be. You can only have a suggestion of where you're at. And the best way to be up on it is to stay up on it, even on a monthly basis. See where you're at. Yeah, weekly, monthly.
Once you're pre-approved, you should be talking to me weekly, or your person, and find out where the rates did they move much. It used to be that we didn't move much. Now they've been moving up and up and up, and they've been sitting there, and then we come down a little bit, but still, I mean, I was looking at a cash out refinance for somebody. It's 7.25.
Yeah, past like 3 weeks have been very volatile.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we went up really bad and then back down, but not like all the way back to where we were. Yeah. And so it's going to be like this for a while until some major numbers come out, because there's too many other things that people are worried about, not knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's the other issue. But what does that mean? Uncertainty in the market is the best time to buy. It really is. Warren Buffett doesn't wait till everything's perfect and buy stocks at that point. He waits until people don't want it or they're running from it, and he's buying it as they're running from it. You should be buying property as people are worried that should I buy or not?
Yeah.
You should be buying. The issue is, yes, your payment's going to be higher. Yes, you're going to be investing more in interest right now. Eventually, you'll be able to reduce that. You just have to be okay with it. You're not over a 5-year period. You're not going to make a mistake, meaning that a lot of people are worried about making a mistake. People don't like to buy because it's easier just to go rent instead of actually taking that next step. Stop that. You need to take that next step. That's the best thing you can do.
I think the statistic too that kind of shows how a lot of people have cut down on unnecessary spending, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's been always a lot of it. I was actually watching this video. It was this guy saying he makes $150,000 a year and saying he's been living paycheck to paycheck to afford a mortgage. That's absurd. You shouldn't be living paycheck to pay. Obviously,
Where does he live? In San Francisco? Bay Area?
I think it was Texas. It was Texas, but what he was arguing was he was like, man, I'm spending so much money, and it's hard to sustain the mortgage. But then he was like breaking down his expenditure, and he's spending like $900 to $1,000 a month on eating out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot.
How
of
much
things.
was his car payment?
Car payment as well, $800. You know, so it's kind of like a lot of the times.
How much was his mortgage?
The mortgage, man, I can't remember exactly everything, but I think he was like at like it was low because he had been there already for a few, like $2,500, like 25 to $2,500 to $3,000.
And he was single by himself?
No, married with 2 kids, right?
Well,
so,
you know, it's eating up his money.
Yeah,
Those
right.
2 kids.
So that was another like expenditure. But and granted, I mean, it sounds normal for like the type of family that it was and their expenditure on like groceries. That's 100% good. But I mean, you're talking eating out, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go to eat out and you have 2 kids, you know, and they're wanting the Happy Meal or whatever maybe, you know, and all those kinds of things. It's expensive. I mean, it gets really expensive, and not to say don't have kids, right? But what we're saying is cut back on like cut back on like some of the certain things that are holding you back from propelling yourself forward.
Right. I mean, because it won't be like that forever. I mean, the problem is at 150,000, it sounds like a lot of money, but after taxes, they don't have much. They just have federal taxes there. They don't have state taxes. But one of his biggest thing that's killing him is, I guarantee, is this property insurance, because that's not property insurance, property taxes, because Texas is 3%.
Right.
And it goes up 10% a year. So if and you know his house has doubled in value over the last couple of years, because that's what happened to Texas. So his taxes on a monthly basis have doubled. Even if it was just a regular $300,000 home, he's paying almost 10 grand in taxes when he bought it. So now he's probably paying 12 grand in taxes. So 12 grand divided by, 12, that's $1,000 a month in just taxes.
Yeah.
Don't run to Texas to get fixed and make everything better. It isn't the best place to buy because of certain things. And it's not even getting the weather.
I mean, let alone just the crazy spike that happened over the years. It's not worth it. There's not, I feel, as much job opportunity as there really is over here too.
We cool down at night.
Yeah. Well,
they don't.
Yeah, and we still see a lot of appreciation over here.
We're seeing a lot, dude. Whatever it is nationally, we're triple that. So
yeah,
the numbers we threw up today, and I've threw up in the last few days, and whatever of the appreciation, that's not us. That's national. And the problem is, people look at thinking about Modesto. We have not built any homes, and think about how the houses are just going off the shelf as soon as they come on the market. I mean, there's one in my neighborhood that was 900 something, and it's gone. It's already sold down the, and I'm not right in my neighborhood. I'm in the college area. So when I say my neighborhood, the college area, and that stuff's going fast, and you need to, it's going to keep going up in value. And so you're worried about your payment right now. So when rates come down and you have the same payment because the house went up in value that much, that's what you're going to have a problem with. You're never going to buy.
And the property tax is being fixed to a higher point. That's why we keep stressing and try to, get you guys, motivate you guys to get out there and really look, because again, there can be very minor things that you could change, to make it happen. And again, especially with people that are jumping, I mean, because I know people that are still lucky enough to be paying only like $1,500, $1,600 a month in rent, right? that's great. Yeah, you might have to double what you're spending to get into a house, but it will be worth it. It really will.
Yeah, but some of those people are paying that they're in like Valley Springs and pretty hot.
Right. Well, it's like I'm saying, even some of the people that are here, right? Like we have a mutual client, right, who is stuck on a very low rental payment, and it's unfortunate because it really does discourage people. However, that's not reality. I mean, if he were to, something were to happen and he has to go find a place to rent, it's not that cheap.
No, it's not. And so a moral of the story of the today, and I'm going to bring it to a close, is go get pre-approved. Have someone pull your credit as a soft pull, see where you are, so you can know what to fix. Because there isn't a single person that comes to me that I don't want to raise something on, fix something on their credit before they get into contract or while they're in contract. But sometimes I don't have a choice because they were already in contract, right? And they don't want to do it. But if you have a couple weeks, a month, there's a couple things you can do to make your FICO score so much better to get even a better rate. And that's what you want to do. Yeah. So Francisco, thanks for coming in today, and thanks for talking about this with me.
No, thank you for having me again.
My pleasure. Reach out to us if we like what we do here. The best way to support us is subscribe to our YouTube channels, which is Real Estate Jerky, Ed Parcaut, and Francisco Ruvalcaba Jr. And we'll talk to you next